All right, so are you ready to kind of stop and smell the roses? Well, get ready, because that's what we're doing. Today, we're taking a deep dive into, you guess it, roses. We're going to uncover some pretty cool facts about roses, from like way back in ancient history
Right.
to some surprising modern uses. I bet you didn't know we could use roses for, like, science.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, roses have been captivating us for, like, centuries,
Yeah.
millennia, really.
Right.
I mean, they've even made it all the way to space.
Space roses. Okay, now I have to hear about that. But
Of
first,
course.
let's back up a bit. How old are roses exactly?
So picture this. We've got fossil evidence that shows roses have been on Earth for something like 35 million years.
Wow.
Now, I'm sure those ancient roses didn't look like the ones we know and love today.
Yeah.
Humans started cultivating roses, like actually shaping their evolution, only about 5,000 years ago.
Oh, wow. So our love affair with roses is relatively new then. But with that kind of history, there've got to be some good stories, right? What kind of symbolism have people, attached to roses over time?
Oh, tons. Like, there's that amazing story of the world's oldest living rose over in Germany.
Okay.
It's been growing on a cathedral wall for over 1,000 years. It even, like, survived a bombing during World War II.
No way.
People saw it as this symbol of hope, kind of reflecting the city's resilience after such destruction.
That's incredible. It's crazy how something as delicate as a rose can represent so much strength.
Right. And we can't forget about the Romans. They were obsessed with roses. They used them for everything.
Sure.
Decorations, jewelry, even secret meetings.
No.
Yeah. Anything said under the rose was top secret, hidden from, prying ears.
Wow. So roses have always been tied up in politics, secrets, even espionage. It's like a whole other side to those bouquets we see today.
Mm-hmm.
But let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk, like, science. What's the science behind these amazing flowers?
Oh, it's fascinating. Did you know that there are over 100 species of roses?
Really?
We usually group them into species roses. Those are the wild ones. Old garden roses, the kind popular before 1867. And then modern roses, the ones bred after that, like those hybrid tea roses you see at the florist.
Oh, okay. So there's a lot more to it than just red roses and white roses.
Oh, yeah.
What about rose hips? Those little berry things on rose bushes.
Right.
Are those just decorative, or did they, like, do something?
Oh, no, they're actually really good for you. Rose hips are packed with vitamin C, more than some citrus fruits,
Wow.
which is really important for your immune system and for healthy skin even. And people have known about this for a while because they've used rose hips to make teas, jams, even medicine. Have you ever tried rose hip syrup?
Rose hips are... No, I haven't, but now I kind of want to. This is making me realize how much I underestimate roses. What other cool facts does science have about them?
This might blow your mind, but scientists are actually studying the way rose petals are structured to see if they can use it in material science.
Wait, seriously? So roses could be the key to new technology?
It's possible. So the microscopic texture of the petals, how the cells are arranged, it could lead to, like, creating more efficient and stronger materials. Imagine, like, electronics that are inspired by rose petals.
That's wild. It makes you see a simple rose in a whole new light.
Exactly.
This deep dive is full of surprises. Speaking of which, we've talked history and science. What about their fragrance? It's more than just a nice smell, right?
Oh, absolutely. Research suggests that rose aromatherapy, like using rose oil, can actually reduce anxiety and maybe even help you sleep better. They've even done studies with hospital patients.
So there's actual science behind stopping to smell the roses.
Yes.
It's not just a nice saying.
And get this, even just smelling a rose for a few minutes can improve your mood.
I believe it. Whenever I see roses, I feel happy. But what makes their scent so special? Like, you always see it used in perfumes.
It's all about the complexity. A rose's scent is made up of, get this, hundreds of different chemical compounds. It's so complex that it's nearly impossible to recreate artificially. That's why a real rose perfume is so special.
Wow. So it's like a fingerprint. Okay, this episode has already been incredible, and we're just getting started.
And it doesn't stop there. You won't believe this, but back in 2002, they actually sent a miniature rose, like a real rose, to space.
Wait, hold on. A rose in space? What, like, why? Tell me more.
So scientists wanted to know how being in space, in that, weightless environment, would affect its fragrance. It was a cool experiment. It taught us a lot about how plants survive in extreme places, like could we grow roses on Mars one day?
So we're talking about rose-inspired tech here and sending actual roses to space. What's next for roses? What else can we do with them?
Well, there's this whole area of like rose breeding. Scientists and like plant experts are always trying to create new kinds of roses,
Yeah.
with different colors, incredible smells, and even like making them stronger so they don't get diseases as easily.
Oh, cool. So it's like they're artists, but with petals. What are some of the coolest things they've come up with?
Well, there are so many. But there's this one called the Juliet rose. It's this beautiful peach color, but get this, it took the breeder 15 years and $5 million to create.
$5 million for one rose. There's got to be more to it than meets the eye.
Right, that just shows how much work and passion goes into making new roses. That Juliet rose became super popular, proving that people will pay a lot for beauty and like something unique. And I mean, who knows what amazing roses are being created right now as we speak? Maybe the next big thing is growing in your garden.
That's an awesome thought. Okay, so we've covered space roses, old history, and even some pretty modern plant science.
Mm.
But I have to know, what about those thorns? Are they just there to poke us gardeners, or is there like a reason?
Actually, it's funny you ask. Those are called prickles, not thorns, and they're pretty important. They're like the rose's defense system to stop animals from eating them.
Oh, so like a suit of armor, but for roses? And here I thought they were just out to get me in the garden.
Right. Nature's full of surprises. Speaking of surprises, did you know that there's a type of rose that actually smells bad?
Wait, really? A stinky rose? No way. I thought they were all supposed to smell good.
It's true. It's called the Rosa fetida, which literally means like foul-smelling rose. It just shows that even within one type of flower, there can be so much variety.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What about all those different roses you mentioned before? Like the old garden roses. What makes them so special?
Ah, old garden roses. You know the ones from before 1867? They've got a special kind of magic, don't they? They're known for being beautiful, but also really fragrant and tougher than they look. A lot of them are easier to grow than modern roses and don't get sick as often. They're perfect for like someone just starting out with a garden.
They sound gorgeous and smell amazing too.
Exactly. People love those old garden roses for their strong, complex scents. They were really popular back in the day, partly because of how good they smelled.
Okay, I need to plant an old garden rose to my to-do list. But what about the modern roses? What makes them different?
Think of them as like the culmination of centuries of like humans carefully choosing and breeding roses. They come in so many colors and shapes. It's mind-blowing. And breeders are always working on making them last longer in a vase, or be more resistant to disease.
So all those different roses you see at the flower shop, that's all thanks to rose breeders.
Totally. You've got your classic long stem roses, the hybrid tea roses, perfect for bouquets, and then floribunda roses, which grow in clusters. Oh, and those tiny, cute miniature roses that people put on their windowsills.
Wow, I had no idea there were so many.
And we're just scratching the surface. We haven't even talked about how different cultures use roses in their traditions or what the different colors symbolize.
This deep dive could seriously go on forever. It really feels like we've just dipped our toes into the rose world. There's so much to explore. So what's the most, I don't know, surprising or interesting thing you've learned about roses?
It's funny. What still gets me is how complex their fragrance is. Like, we're talking about hundreds of tiny compounds all working together. It's like a symphony for your nose. And even the tiniest thing, like the soil the rose grows in, or even the time of day, can totally change how it smells.
Each rose is kind of like a snowflake then. Unique.
Yeah, exactly. And scientists were still trying to figure out how it all works. Like, what makes one rose smell like citrus and another, totally different. It's fascinating.
It really makes you appreciate how much we don't know about, well, about anything, really.
Oh, absolutely. Like, just when you think you've got roses figured out, something new pops up. For example, we're looking at rose prickles, those thorns, for inspiration for new materials.
Wait, what can we learn from a thorn?
More than you'd think. They're super strong, but they can bend without breaking. And they're sharp. So scientists are trying to copy that to create things that can, repair themselves or even make better needles for doctors.
Wow, who knew we could learn so much from a rose? I feel like this whole deep dive has been like a reminder that, we should really stop and appreciate the little things.
I like that. And, if there's one thing I hope our listeners take away from all of this, it's that next time they see a rose, really see it. Like, think about everything that went into it, from ancient times to, scientists in labs. It's pretty amazing.
Totally. I don't think I'll ever look at a rose the same way again. A huge thank you to our expert for guiding us through this amazing rose adventure. And to everyone listening, we hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.